we're doing today subtle energy changes, and we are all energy. We kind of understand that. You can just accept that almost. We're made of energy, as is the whole of the universe. I'm going to read you a little bit that I read in a journal about what subtle energy is, just before we begin. It's only a short passage. What is subtle energy? Subtle energy is the energy in our bodies and minds that's part of a complex science comprised of our physical, emotional, and spiritual health systems. It works by unblocking, clearing, and balancing our energy to promote self-healing. In yoga, we do this by mastering postures and the intricate movement of the breath. As an aside, the 7 chakras are involved in the subtle energy system, as well as the 7 subtle bodies which correlate to them. So next week we'll go into that a little bit more, but it's just to think about that energy this morning. So to begin, before we actually go into the breath, close your eyes and just notice your energy. It could be that you notice your presence here, a physical energy that you take up space, in effect. That energy of you takes up space. It could be that you feel a buzzing or a flowing inside you of the movement of energies in your body while you're still. Could be the energy in your head that you're feeling. So your mental stimulation that's going on here just by listening to me, for one thing. It could be the energy in your muscles that you're feeling because of the way you're sitting and the sort of connection through your body. So all those are different layers of the subtle energy, the 7 subtle bodies, in effect. So just recognizing our own energy. If you're not recognizing that, you can make yourself ill, literally. And if you do recognize it, you can make yourself better. So it's a really good thing to tune into. So going with our breath, which is one way of connecting to some of these energies, we're going to take Anuloma Viloma, which is alternative nostrils, but we're going to take one breath in and then out through both nostrils. So it's in one, but out both each time. So find your Vishnu Mudra, use your fingers and your thumb, or your ring finger and thumb as usual. We're going to close off the right, to start with your thumb, or whichever finger. If you're left-handed, it would be the other way around. And inhale through your left nostril. And then exhale through your both nostrils, Take it easy the first couple. You don't need to do the length of 4. Just take it slowly, but not too deep. And then the right nostril in and both nostrils out. So very easy breath to follow. In your left, out both. In your right, out both. So just continue with a few rounds and notice the different energy changes in you, if you can. Just notice how it awakens your body as you draw that breath deeper inside you, how it relaxes your body on the exhale, where things start to just release and give a little bit. The connection between breath and the energy of our body. Just take a couple more and watch what's happening as you breathe, as you take the breath a little longer, a little slower, a little deeper maybe. Noticing the front and the back of your body changing. Maybe your posture has changed automatically to lift up. Maybe it hasn't, and I've just said that, and now you have lifted up. And then the energy flows so much better. Once your spine feels nice and long, you lift out your pelvis, you've got some space there to breathe and move the energy around you. Let's take a couple more. And then keeping your eyes closed, release your hand down to your knee. Just notice any changes, any very subtle changes. Maybe you feel a little bit warmer. Maybe you feel a little bit lighter. Maybe you're more connected to your breath and therefore to your physical body. So we're going to change it up now, and whichever hand is not the hand you would normally use, so it'll be my left hand, bring it into the same position to do the same breath. So before you do, use your fingers on your forehead just to lift you up and find that posture from your sit bones. If you wanted, you could have crossed your legs differently there. It's not necessary, but just find that Vishnu Mudra on the opposite side that feels wrong. And it might be, if you're ambidextrous, this might be fine, but if you're not, it might feel a little bit clunky now. So we're going to start on inhaling through our right nostril this time. So close the left off with your thumb when you're ready. Inhale through your right nostril and exhale through both. Inhale through your left nostril. Exhale through both. You should have got a stronger, slower breath now. Just continue with that breath. So as you do this and become more rhythmic with it, notice the slight subtle differences and therefore the slight subtle changes, not just physically because you feel a little bit lopsided now perhaps, or not quite as balanced, but your energy may be slightly different. So it may have added a tiny bit of stress to what you're doing because you're having to really think about it and you just feel that bit of discomfort almost. Your brain's not quite connected to the breath and the body. And I'm talking personally here. You may not be feeling these things. It may not be that it doesn't feel it might feel much better for you than it is in my case. But because this isn't something that we do normally on this side, just continue with your breath, another couple of breaths. We don't normally sit with the wrong hand up. We go automatically for whichever side is our stronger side. And when you're dealing with the weaker side of your body, which it technically will be, or the slightly weaker side of your brain that you're not quite so connected to physically, it can put you out of kilter. So the same thing with your energy. If you're not using balanced energy, it will put you out of kilter. And you can't fix that weaker side, but you have to work on it sometimes too. That's the physical side, but also we're talking mentally and emotionally and spiritually. The whole thing is linked here. This is a whole system. Think of a car. If you get a blockage in one part of your car, the rest of it doesn't work. So then release the hand down when you're ready. Eyes closed still. Notice if there's a slight change in the energy anywhere. Might be physical. I can feel the difference in that left shoulder because it's not normally the one that hangs out there. It might be in your mind. It might feel a little bit fizzy in your energy somewhere because it's charged you up a little bit by doing something different. Okay, so let's start to move. You can stay in your block for this bit, or you can move off it and recross your legs if they're getting a bit tired in that position. So take your hands now and place them gently on top of your shoulders, elbows out at shoulder height, and spread your wings in the back of your body. So think of extending your elbows outwards towards the wall either side. Just be careful it's not too strong, so don't force, just feel that space open between your shoulder blades. And then we're going to start with some tiny circles with a pencil, imagine, on the elbow. So you're just taking tiny circles with tiny little movements. You might can feel the movements in your shoulders through your fingertips. And then start to make the circles slightly bigger and feel that connection down the side of your body, under your arms. Energy moving from just moving that one point that you're focusing on. And then once the circles are as big as you feel comfortable making, start to bring the shoulders into it as well, so it's not just the elbows. So the whole of the back of the body starts to move and the front of the body starts to move. Everything starts to connect. And then go in the other direction in the big circles if you can. So it's quite a change up there. So it changes, the mind has to change things, or the mental stimulation here comes in. The physical side of it. Don't think there's too much emotion involved, hopefully not. Try and get the circles now to go a little bit smaller so that the movement comes back out of your shoulders and your body and more towards just your elbows moving. Of course, it's not just your elbows moving, but that's what we're aiming to get to in the small circle feeling. Okay, so keeping the hands there, we're going to take our right elbow in just and bring it in front of us and cross it as much as is comfortable, so opening that wing and opening it in the other direction then and drawing it backwards. And then bring it to neutral. Do the same with the left one, bring it forwards, crossing across the body. Keep it at shoulder height if you can, try and keep everything up. Keep the tummy engaged to support the strength of the lower back. Bring that elbow back to neutral. Bring them both forward, almost, and see if you can touch them. And then spread the wings. They won't touch in your back, probably, but draw them back. Take a couple of those. Watch what's happening in your neck. Be careful you're not straining. So tuck that chin and lift up through your crown. Lift up through your belly right to your crown. Use your spine to support your head here. Take a couple more. Feeling that movement of the angel's wings. If you had wings, that's where they'd be coming out of in the back of your body. And then bring the hands down. Close your eyes, notice that energy that you've put through that area of your body. So then, I'm just going to recross, you don't have to, but I'm just changing them up. And there's a subtle difference then in the way that the energy's moving through the legs and hips. So change them if you feel like it whenever. Okay, so now arms up above the head on the next in-breath, find your breath with it. Take them above your head, bring them to Anjali Mudra. Bring them down carefully past your nose. Take two more. Inhaling up, find that lift out of your pelvis. Move the energy up through you to your crown as you raise up and find that nice long feeling in your body. This time, keep the hands up in Anjali Mudra when you get there. Feel that they're directly right above that spot in your skull that would lift out. If your spine extended, it would reach through to your hands. And then breathe in and lift up again. And as you exhale, take your hands now down in Anjali Mudra behind your head. And then lift them back up. So do 2 or 3 more of those, just breathing in as they come up, exhaling as they come down. Watch your neck again, watch you're not forcing your head forward. If you are, try and take your elbows back a little bit to open up. And then you won't be forcing so much through the back of your neck and your head. One more. Part of our body, we don't often exercise, or I don't. And I did this yesterday and I found the resonance of the energy then. So you get that from exercise, obviously, and also from certain situations. So bring your hands down then, let them rest. Just take a break there for a second. Going to bring our straps in a second, so make sure you've got them handy. Just let your shoulders rest a second before we go into cow face. Yeah, so as I say, I can feel the resonance in my biceps here. And triceps. So I can feel the resonance from yesterday, and you get that from physical exercise often a day or two later. But it also happens with the energies in the other parts of the subtle body. So emotionally, we can hold on to things, mentally as well when we think of it. So that's what causes an upset in our physical energy, our emotional energy, etc. And then that resonates into your whole physical body, can become ill with it if you're not careful. Okay, so grab your strap. We're going to do cow face arms. So take the strap up above the head. Everybody use the strap, even if you can reach your hands behind you. Reach the strap out. Take the other arm out. I'm doing my right arm, doesn't matter which. Face forward with your palm. And then just rotate at your shoulder so that your palm faces backwards. And then bring that hand behind you like that. So just fold at the arm and draw it back round behind you and catch the strap. And then fold the top elbow down and point that elbow upwards if you can. So you're taking that elbow upwards and opening up the side body. And then walk your hand behind you up the strap to wherever is comfortable, wherever you can find the connection. It doesn't need to be hand to hand. I know I've got a damaged shoulder this side, so it won't reach. So if it doesn't, just try and open that area a little bit more. Try to connect with where you need to open and let the energy flow through. It may even heal it a little bit if it's not a permanent injury. But even permanent injuries, if we open and let the energy in, it can heal that area for us. And then release carefully the back hand, bring it round, lift up, pop the strap into the other hand now. Same thing, take the arm up, have a little bit of a stretch through that shoulder first of all. Just a gentle stretch through the side body. Take the other arm out, palm faces forward, we rotate at the shoulder, and then we just fold at the elbow, so we're keeping that shoulder nice and open on the front. We're catching the strap, if you can find it. And then bending that top elbow to face upwards, and then walking up the strap to find that connection. So here I can connect my hands, which shows me that there's something not quite right about the other shoulder. And learning about your body through doing these sort of things, you'll learn then where you do need to open to let the energy through. So just breathe a few breaths here and see if you can just think of opening that shoulder of the hand that's folded behind you and lifting the elbow of the elbow that's the top elbow. And engaging the tummy muscles. Feel if you're not quite symmetrical in your hips, you might want to shuffle over a little bit there. If your head's poking forward, draw it back. Let the energy have a clear path to flow through. And then release the hands down. Pop the strap beside you. You're going to use it again in a minute, and we're coming out cross-legged in a second. So if you need to recross too, but we will, this is the last bit in cross-legged for a bit. Pop the hands together in clasped hands, and then we're just going to take cat, and we're going to hold it for 2 breaths, but only the upper back. So engage your tummy muscles, draw them back towards your spine, and wherever that muscle just above your belly button seems to hit the back of your body, that's where we're moving from. So the bottom of the spine and the back of your body is going to stay still and stable. We're just using an upper back and upper cervical spine movement here. So when you're ready, breathe in, find that length. As you exhale, turn the palms, and then start to move by tucking your chin and rolling down through your cervical spine and then through the upper back to where your wing area is again. So opening up that space between your wings, but holding that nice long stability from the sort of middle of your thoracic spine downwards. Just tucking the top half of you in your shoulders. See if you can then roll a little bit more forward through your chin. So lifting up and rolling down just through the upper back still. And breathe. So giving some space to that area behind us. And then slowly stacking from the point in your thoracic spine where the curve started, start to stack back up the way. Bring the hands in. Unclasp, reclasp the hands. Very subtle difference, but you'll find, as we did the other day, there's a slight change in the movement. So inhale tall, turn the palms, exhale, same thing. Upper back only that we're rolling forward. We're drawing the tummy back and keeping a nice stable bottom part of our spine. Tucking the chin, lifting the heart just slightly through the back of the body, opening a space there. And there's a slight change in the energy through your fingers and up through your arms because your clasp has changed. Inhale and lift back up to the top, release. Take anything that's under you away from you if you can. Bring your legs out in front of you. Sit up nice and tall into Dandasana. Notice the energy change in your legs there from unfolding and straightening your legs. You may feel you need to just shake the energy through to release it. So do whatever it's saying. Listen to your body. Sorry, we're not using the strap straight away. We're popping the hands one at a time behind us by opening the shoulder behind us, rolling those wings back together on the back of our body, and we're coming in to frog's legs. So when you're ready, start your frog's legs on the breath or not, depends how you want to do it. It's not necessarily always that we need to connect to the breath. If you can do it with the breath, you'll do it a bit slower. So legs come in, feet in the floor, and then we do the circles out and back together. Keep the tummy engaged. Keep that energy flowing through, up through the body by lifting up into a little bit of a back bend, maybe even here. And then stop in neutral and go the other way. So you should start to feel a heat in your hip area, maybe a heaviness in your thighs. You should start to feel that energy and how it is moving through you, and maybe stagnating or has stagnated and you're releasing it through your hip flexors perhaps. Come back to the start, sit up into Dandasana, bring your strap in now, pop your strap around your feet. Find that nice tall set in Dandasana. So flex the feet, bring the toes towards you. You should lift your heels slightly off the floor. Tuck your elbows into your side body. Open up your shoulders across the collarbone. You want to draw those wings back together on the back of your body. And feel that length and the energy flowing down through your body into your legs and backwards. So then bring the heels in on the floor using the strap. You'll start to lean back slightly. And then lift your feet if you can. Didn't expect that one, did you? So here, sitting in this one, draw your wings back together. Open the front of your chest by drawing your elbows back in tight to your side and your shoulder blades together, in other words. Draw your tummy in to support your lower back. Feel the energy then move. That strain on the lower back moves out of it. Engage your breath. Use it to keep you in this position. Work with the breath to balance the energy that balances you physically then. And then release the feet to the floor. So changing things up brings that subtle energy change too, often to our brain as well when we're not expecting it. Keep the strap there. Last one in this position, bring the feet back towards you, and all we're doing is that upper back stretch again, and holding and breathing a couple of breaths. So think tall through your spine from your sit bone. Inhale, tuck the chin on the exhale, and start to roll through just the upper back. So try to keep that length through the lower back and up through past your waist to the sort of middle, just above your waist. Keep the tummy engaged then, draw it backwards to support what's happening there. And then see if you can spread those wings a little bit more on the back of your body, maybe taking your elbows outwards. Just aware of your neck here, your head's quite heavy, and breathe. So releasing the energy on the back of your body here. So where is the energy blocked and where is it not? Through your throat, it might feel a little bit blocked at the moment. Through your tummy maybe. Through the front of your ankles even when you've flexed your feet. Through your elbows, through your fingers that are holding tight to the strap possibly. Where are the energy blockages? So now we're going to release the strap as we gently lift up through from the bottom of the curve of your spine upwards. Release the strap to the floor. Let your feet point away from you. Take your hands behind you one more time. Open up through your cervical, your collarbones, etc. Across your front of your chest. Move your heart upwards. Come into a little bit of a back bend. Lifting the heart up. Opening up the front of the body that felt a little bit contained there. Spreading the fingers on the floor and pressing gently into them to lift a little bit higher. Releasing the feet away from you. And letting that energy flow through any areas that were contained a moment ago, compressed. And then sitting back up carefully, stacking from the base of your spine upwards, walking your hands as support to bring you forwards. Come back to sitting. I'm going to take my jumper off. So we do talk of the compression often when we're in low lunge is a time that I mention that. When you compress the hip flexors often, we talk about that, and then opening them. And the analogy is to opening a dam, so flushing out anything that was stuck in there. So that's the thought process of moving that energy around. Okay, so then come down onto your back carefully. Keep your strap near you, you'll need it again in a second. So we come down onto your back and come into Shavasana just for a moment. Turning the palms up and spreading the palms and letting the fingers open as wide as they can. See if you can spread your toes on the base of your foot as well. Opening up to let the energy flow right to the tips of you. Lift through your skull a little bit. Move your head along the floor away from your body. And feel as if you've given your body as much space as you can to let everything move slowly through it. And then release. And then we're coming into Bitilasana. So walk into whichever side you want to go to first with your feet. Bottom stays heavy on the floor. Carefully lift your shoulders a little bit off the floor to move to the same side. Coming into Bitilasana. You can cross the feet here if you want to, or you can just stay as you are. You can take the arms up above and just come into kind of goalpost arms if it's more comfortable. Or you can stretch arms above your head and take a hold of your wrist. So we're taking a hold of the wrist on the open side of the body and crossing that foot above the other one. So you're really extending the open side here. So releasing any blockages that are in the open side of your body here. Maybe even through your neck, you can turn your head slightly as well and let anything that was stuck in your neck area release through. And then find your breath to help move that energy. Inhale, feel yourself flushing the energy, and then exhaling, pushing it through. Take a few breaths, just thinking of the movement of things in your body. It might not just be blood and fluids moving through. You may think of your muscles moving, the energy in them rearranging to stretch and open, and finding health through that. And then release the hands down, release yourself over back to neutral, one part of you at a time. And then come to the other side in Bitilasana. So that side there that you're having now to contract, completely different energies being forced into it or being used. Find your position you want with the hands and the feet, etc. And your neck, let it be open if you can by letting your head rock to the side. And on this side, notice where anything feels a little bit stuck. So I particularly can feel where my hip is connecting to my IT band on my thigh. That there feels quite tight. So what I'm going to do is direct my breath in that direction. So wherever you feel, might be under your arms, might be on your neck, direct your breath to that particular area and use the exhale to see if you can just tell that part to release a little bit more. And not hold on quite so much. And we're telling the muscles and joints to expand a bit by releasing them. Find that nice stretch in them, that to give them health. The physical body we're looking at here. Then walk back to centre. Just take a moment in neutral there for a second, and then bring your feet in flat to the floor, the width of the mat, but as far as away from you as is comfortable. So we're coming into windscreen wipers, but you want the furthest away ones as is comfortable, but feet at the width of the mat. Put your hands on your belly this time, just to feel the movement as you start to windscreen wiper from one side to the other. Now, you don't need to go too far here. The legs are quite heavy, the joints are not completely warmed up. So take it easy as you rock from side to side. It's not about reaching the floor. It's about listening to where your body's saying, no, stop. And then maybe you can go a little bit further each time because it starts to relax through your muscles and your joints. It realizes what you're doing. Things become a bit more fluid. The energy starts to work with you rather than against you. You may almost be going over to the floor. Feel that energy then moving through your body as well as you twist from or move from side to side. And then come back to neutral. Bring the feet in about a step and a half or so in towards you, but still the width of the mat, flatten the floor, windscreen wipers again in this position. Hands still on the body, but maybe one hand on the belly and one maybe on your ribs this time. And then start to just windscreen wiper gently. The hips will be a little bit more fluid now because you've done this already and the movement has been memorized by them. And so they may be more relaxed. So you may go over a little bit further than you thought you would this time. But feel through your hands where the energy is moving just to move your legs. Where it's having to balance what's happening elsewhere in your body. We are a complete science system, if that's the right phrase. We are made of many parts. So subtle bodies, the 7 subtle bodies, are just going to be an explanation of what happens on the different levels of us. It's not all physical, so that's why yoga is different from exercise. Okay, so then come to neutral. Bring the feet closer together, maybe hip distance apart now, and closer to your hips. We're not doing bridge, so they don't need to go that close. We're doing that same movement again. So it may be you prefer to have your legs really together so that your knees and thighs, etc. are connected. You decide how you feel more stable, where you will find balance, and then rock from side to side again in windscreen wiper. Won't maybe go as far as you think you should. Now pop your hands to the side of your waist and feel the movement there. If you feel you need the hands to support you, then please do. Don't put them where I'm telling you, but it's just about noticing the energy is moving through you, through all the muscle connection, through everything that's having to shift internally. All your organs are having to jiggle about here to let the energy flow past them and through them. And by popping that energy through them, we're making the organs healthier as well. So the idea of twists, etc., detoxifying you, there's a bit of a question mark about that in several people's minds, but essentially you're moving energy through your organs in a twist. So stuff has got to move, unblock and clear. Come back to neutral. Take your legs away from you, just have a little bit of a stretch out, up and down. And then we're going to come on to our side, doesn't matter which side, we're going to start in that chair position that we often do the Robin Hood arms here in, but grab your strap at the same time. So pop your strap into both hands and have it really loose between them because you're going to take it backwards and you need it the length of the space of your body. So you might want, I often do have a brick under my head here. If you need something under your head, just take it now because it can be a strain on the neck otherwise if your head's in the wrong position. So stacking, first of all, hands, knees, feet, ankles, as if you were sitting in a chair and your hands were out at shoulder height in front of you. And close your eyes now because you know what position you're in. And we're just going to slowly take our elbow back as if you're doing Robin Hood. So just trail the fingers up the other arm, but bring the strap with you. And as the strap comes, you may have to release it a little bit to then allow your arm to open out behind you. And as you do that, let your top hip come with you. So then find your hand at least on the floor behind you. Let your head turn gently with it towards the backhand. And let the hips relax, and you might find the top leg comes backwards a bit, the two knees separate a little bit and one comes backwards. Just let it be, let it go, so that you're getting the stretch through the upper chest and through the wings on the back of your body. Reaching out through your arms. Go as far over with your hips as you need to allow the arms to open up into that T shape. And just breathe here for 2 or 3 breaths. Just breathe and find that openness in the top half by releasing the bottom half a little bit. You might notice the floor coming up to meet the shoulder a little bit more. Nice open energy across the front of your chest, along your arms. Then take your left hand, well, my left hand, the front hand, and just pop it on the top thigh. And very gently draw that thigh back so that your knees start to restart. Don't go too far, but you're drawing the hip back up very gently so that you'll feel the movement through your waist and your outside of that top hip. You're just extending the muscles, etc. there, just to open up the fascia on that side of your hip. Don't need to pull it back into completely being stacked. It's just moving to bring it back into a more stacked position, just to feel the twist move down through the lower half of you. And it may mean that the upper half then moves a little bit as well because it's tight there. So you might have to think about trying to breathe and loosen that off a little bit more. And then let go of the thigh. Bring your hand back over. Lift the back hand, lift it up. Or bend your elbow if you feel this too powerful. Otherwise, lift the arm up in a big semicircle, reaching up above you. Bringing the hands back round to stack. And rest in that stacked position for a couple of breaths. And then we're going to roll over and take that on the other side. So we know what we're doing now, much easier to get into position. So hands stacked to start with. We draw them back and come into our T shape with the shoulders and the arms, letting that top hip come with us. Even though you want to glue the knees together, let it go, let yourself open up a little bit more through the upper half of you. Let the head roll with you to look towards the back hand. Breathe into your upper chest. And then exhale and release those wings behind you. Feel yourself soften into the floor with the exhale. Feel your hips give a little bit more with the exhale. Feel the energy moving through your open side, your twisted side. You might feel the energy contained in the tightness and tension in the underside of your body, so see if you can release that a little bit. This isn't about alignment, this is about giving yourself space. So now bring your front hand onto the thigh and then gently pull, not gently pull, but gently move that leg forward a bit so that that hip comes forward and stacks a bit more. And you feel that movement through your waist, through your outside of your hip and maybe into your IT band even. Through the back of your body, change in energy. Breathe, use your breath to connect. Use your breath to help it give a little bit more. Then let go of the leg, bring the hand back out, let your head come up to neutral. And then moving the top half of you forward, either bending the elbow and just gently sweeping it back, or taking it up above you and really reaching out and opening up that left-hand side wing in my case, as you draw it back down to where you started. And then raising up on your elbows slightly, bring in one of your bricks and pop it behind your back so we come into modified fish. So it's just below, in ladies' case, the bra strap area that you want that brick to be. And this is a shoulder opener, so it's just below where your wings that we've been talking about are. You can bring the other brick in if you want then and pop it under your head, or you can let your head gently go back down to the floor. and open up the front of your throat a little bit more. So it's up to you where you're more comfortable. Legs here can be out, or they can be knees bent and feet on the floor. You might find that a little bit more easeful in your lower back. Or you can take them into Supine Twist feet. So bringing your feet together and letting your thighs drop out, it just releases the thighs a bit more. So take it wherever you feel more comfortable. And tuck your shoulders under you. And then slightly changing it from where we normally are in this. Take your arms up and either just pop them into goalpost arms, which is like cactus arms, and release them there. Or take them above your head a little bit more. Try and keep them on the floor so they're supported though. So as soon as you feel you're taking the weight through your arms, draw them back in a little bit and let the floor support the weight of the arms. So you don't want to take anything off the floor. Your upper arms will be off the floor, obviously. But that should give you a little bit more space through the side of your chest and in through your armpits. And that, an area that really needs stretching in this modern world, that area we all live leaning forwards nowadays. So this is an area that really we don't think about opening very often. So draw your wings a little bit closer together on your back of your body and raise your heart up a little bit more and open up that front body. And maybe then you can move your arms slightly. Maybe you can open up even more through that space in your armpits. And just breathe. And as you breathe, I'm just going to read you a little story. Very short one. Don't worry, I am watching the time. So this is called The Carrot, the Egg and the Coffee Beans. Excuse me. A young woman, after suffering some setbacks, asked her grandmother about how to cope with adversity. The grandmother put 3 pots of water on to boil on the campfire and placed in them a carrot, an egg, and some coffee beans. And after some time, she turned off the heat and she asked her granddaughter what she saw. The carrot had started out strong and hard, but had turned to mush. The egg had become hard and impenetrable, losing its softness. The coffee granules had transmuted into coffee. The grandmother explained that each of these things had faced the same adversity in the form of heat, but they reacted differently. One collapsed, one put up its shields, but the other transformed itself. So let go of the breath and we're going to move. So slowly bring yourself out of this and roll onto your side and come back up to sitting. Do take your time, take it easy, come out slowly. Be particularly aware of your back muscles today and that area across your shoulder girdle, because we have moved energy through areas that were probably a little bit blocked, and they may have reacted to that. So you might get some resonance from what we've done, and be aware of that and just take it easy on that part of your body. So just finally, bring the hands onto your knees and elbows close to your side. Tuck your chin, tuck your belly, tuck and roll forward. Let your hands support you this time. Let your roll go a little bit further down through to the lower back if you can. But lift up, so don't fall forwards. Make that a really curvy C shape so that you end up looking back at yourself. And then let your elbows come out slowly and open up the back of your body one more time, keeping that support on your knees through your hands. And lift through your heart, through that space between your wings. Lift your heart up. This is a counter pose to what we've just done. So you're rounding forward. That's the way we spend most of our day, as I say. But okay, sit bones then. From the sit bones, we're rolling back up. We're coming back up to seated in Sukhasana to finish. If you feel like you need to, spread your wings. Let them come back to neutral. Take 2 or 3 breaths, lifting up and opening up. Coming back to balanced energy. And then just to finish, hands to heart center. Remember, we can all do yoga. I don't think I'm talking to people that don't know this. But it may be watched by others, and we can all do yoga, but it's being aware of the subtle differences it makes that helps us to be like that coffee bean and enjoy the transformation. So thank you so much for your practices this week. Look forward to the subtle bodies next week. Have a great weekend and namaste.